Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's review is going to be all about balancing, sharpening your mower blades. Total waste of time? Is there kind of old myths to balancing a blade and sharpening your mower blades? Well, let's get to it right now. Let's go over to the bench. I got two blades here, one on the balancer. Let's have a little bit of a chat. Okay, so these are two of the three mower blades that I had shown in a previous video. These are the mulching blades for my MTD lawn tractor, and that is 20 hours or one season. So this is them there now, and well, they didn't look like that when I took them off. Anybody who's got a lawn tractor would know, yeah, these spots right here for the high lift, you know, and it cuts the grass and it recuts it for mulching. Well, I tell you, these blades were so covered up, covered in grass, deposits like you wouldn't believe. I had to use a scraper to get it all off. And then what I do with the mower blades is I scrape off with the scraper blade the best I can, and then I use some easy off oven cleaner. I just put a spray on one side, spray on the other side, and then I hose them off. So, is sharpening your blades a waste of time and balancing a waste of time? Well, for me, I do both. I clean them up every year real good, balance them, and sharpen them. But I've made so many videos on balancing and sharpening that when I use a little bit of logic and reasoning, and well, 40 years of sharpening and balancing blades and watching other people that never balance a blade. I've got my people that come to me to fix their mowers, never sharpen a blade, never balance a blade, and from the time they bought the mower till the time they bring it to me, we're talking like sometimes 8-10 years. They've never taken the blade off and balanced it or sharpened it, and when you put it on my balancer, well, I'll tell you, it's just not balanced. And I'll tell you the truth, after about maybe 5 hours tops, maybe not even that long, these blades are so contaminated with cut grass that they don't pass. So if I put them on my balancer, and they will not pass. I have to actually take material off either end, sharpen them first, take material off either end to get them to balance. And then when I install them, maybe an hour or so, they're completely unbalanced again, because you got grass that'll hang up on here. You know, you wouldn't believe the amount of you know, grass contamination that goes on here, and you need, like I said, a scraper to take it all off. So let's just take a look at the third blade that I've balanced. It's on my balancer now, and you know, when you're thinking about how do I answer people's questions about balancing and sharpening your blade, when I have so many people that I know, 10 years, they've never sharpened their blade, they're out there cutting the grass every week, and you'll hear people say, oh, if you don't have it sharp, well, it's going to tear the grass and it'll all go brown. Well, I've never seen that yet. My neighbors are out there cutting their grass all the time. They haven't sharpened their blades in years and years and years. The only time they get a sharpening is if they have to bring their machine to me to fix because it doesn't work anymore. So let's take a look at a balanced blade, and we're going to go through a little bit of logic and reasoning behind why I really don't have a good reason why somebody should balance or sharpen their blade when an hour or so goes by and the blade becomes completely unbalanced again. And you've all heard them stories about if you don't balance your blade, you're going to wreck the bearing on the bottom, and you know, on a lawn tractor, the spindles are going to be out of whack and vibration. Well, I've never experienced that. The only time I've experienced any vibration from a mower or lawn tractor is if you actually hit something and bend the blade. Yeah, then it'll all just vibrate like crazy. But this idea of sharpening and balancing every year, compared to the people that never sharpen, never balance, never change the oil, never change the air filter, well, I just don't have any good logical experience that could say you should balance and sharpen your mower blades every year, because you know what? In my experience, the majority of the people out there just don't do it. Okay, so there's the blade on the wall, and it's balanced when it's like this. And if it's straight up and down, like every one of these blades were from 20 hours of use, well, I tell you what, that's about as balanced as you're going to get. It's really hard to get it to be that good, because this balancer is an awesome balancer. It's very sensitive. And all we're going to do, I've showed this before, is just a piece of paper. I'm going to stick a piece of paper at the end. You watch what happens. Now, I'll tell you something. How heavy do you think this piece of paper is? Because I'm going to tell you something. This piece of paper, it weighs nothing compared to all the deposits that you will find on a blade. So, the logic and reasoning behind this is what? So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. This is just an ordinary piece of paper, and you can see how it pulled it all the way down to unbalanced. Well, this piece of paper weighs nothing compared to all the deposits I took off a blade. And that applies to my regular mower blade, my backyard here. Every blade I've ever worked on, after a couple of hours, you start to get deposits built up on the blade, and it becomes unbalanced when you check it on a good balancer, right? So, yes, I like to balance my blades once a year. I clean them once a year, take them off, I install them. But realistically, with all the people over the last 40 years that have come to me with their mowers when they've had problems, I look underneath. They've never taken that blade off. This is the vast majority of the people. I don't know if it's you, I can't say everybody, but the vast majority of the people, they've never taken that blade off. They've never sharpened it. They've never balanced it. And it's most of the time they're just rusted. The whole undercarriage is rusted. I take a look at the air filter, never been changed. People generally, in my experience, buy a lawnmower, put gas in it, put it in the shed at the end of the season, and that's about as far as they go. They don't change the oil, they don't maintain nothing. I like to do all these things because I don't know whether it's just making me feel better or whether it's any logic and reasoning to it. Because I tell you, all the times if you want to read comments on sharpening your mower blade, or if you're reading comments on balancing a blade, man, there are so many experts out there talking about all the finer points to it. In reality, well, I see it very few people ever actually do it. I do it. Do you do it? You know, that's an interesting thing to find out. But overall, if somebody says to me, Steve, you're wasting your time, it's you don't need to sharpen your blade, you don't need to balance it, I've been cutting grass with this mower for 10, 12 years, and I hear that all the time. Never did nothing. Look at my lawn, it looks just as good as yours. And when it comes down to it, I don't have any reply, because it just seems that's just the way she goes. And if you go buy a brand new mower, like I bought a brand new Toro mower, I showed it on my channel here a couple of years ago, and says right in the instructions, just add oil, you never have to replace the oil. So that's the way things are today. And when you're watching a video on balancing blades, don't get so critical, or sharpening a blade. It's a mower. It's a mower blade. And I'm saying that after a couple hours with these blades on my lawn tractor, they're all out of balance, because there's grass hanging off it all over the place that weighs a lot more than a piece of paper. So thanks for joining me here today. I hope you found this interesting, a little bit enlightening, and maybe for the general public that, you really shouldn't take, well, YouTube videos on balancing and sharpening too critical, because you know what? Most people just don't do it. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe, come back again, and see and hear some interesting things from an interesting guy like me. Cheers.